Hello and welcome to Sport Vibes on DNTWOK. This is that channel where you get the latest updates across the world of sports. And of course, in the last week, quite a number of disappointing news, if we would call it that way, in the world of sports. Nonetheless, the world of sports is ever buzzing, regardless of the seeming doom and gloom that may want to over this world of sports. There are quite some interesting news as well. And we are here to start with some of the latest of those exciting ones. My name is Bolaji-Episode and I'm your host. So I would advise you to stay tuned and get set for this ride. Chinese star Peng Shuai has denied making an accusation of sexual assault in her first media interview since alleging a top Chinese leader had coerced her into having sexual intimacy with her. Ms. Peng sparked a global concern when she disappeared from public view after posting the allegations online. She has now said that there had been a lot of misunderstanding about the post. The Women's Tennis Association said it was still concerned that she was being censored by the state. In her original notes, which was posted on the Chinese social media platform Weibo in November, she accused the vice premier Zhang Gaoli of forcing her to have sex with him. Now let's talk football, because Tottenham Hotspur disappointingly are out of the Europa Conference League after UEFA ruled that they forfeited their final match against Rennes. The match on 9 December was called off following a COVID outbreak with 13 positive cases at the London club. UEFA then said that the match could not be rescheduled and referred the matter to its disciplinary body. It awarded Rennes 3-0 in favour of the French side. And that means Rennes finished top of the group, Vitesse, the Dutch team, second, and of course Spurs third and out. When you look at these news, it is quite disappointing for Antonio Conte and his men. Consider the fact that this is a team that has been on the up since the Italian coach's arrival, quite a number of victories on the pitch. But as much as football is physical, there is this mental, this psychological aspect of the game as well, which you should not rule out. And I think judging by what the coach himself said, Antonio Conte, recently, you would want to say that the morale of the team may be affected by these things, not getting to play the match at all and then hearing that you are out of the competition. That can be done. That can really do a lot of damage to your confidence. But we hope Conte and his men just find a way to console themselves on that. They are now out of Europe and would be hoping to secure probably a better one, because the UEFA Europa Conference League is like the third tier. So maybe a better one, maybe the UEFA Champions League next season. So we'll leave that and we still stay with Premier League teams, but this time around reacting to the actions that went down over the weekend, because 2 goals from Gabriel Martinelli helped Arsenal sweep past an injury-hit Leeds United team to secure their third consecutive Premier League victory. Leaders Manchester City earned a comfortable 4-0 victory at Newcastle, but a COVID-19 hit Chelsea team further fell behind in the title race. But not just Chelsea, Liverpool also dropped points as they were held to a 2-2 draw at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So the rest of the matches were postponed. The likes of Manchester United could not get to play over the weekend due to the fact that COVID-19 is now ravaging the Premier League. Quite a number of games postponed in the last few days. Let's talk about the matches that went on, should we? Because even if it was only that game against Liverpool, talking about the match between Liverpool and Tottenham, even if that was the only match we saw over the weekend in the Premier League, I think that would have sufficed, because what a pulsating match we had there. Red cards, tackles flying in here and there, and of course high intensity end-to-end stuff from both teams. And you should know, as a football fan, when you have coaches like Jurgen Klopp and of course Antonio Conte standing by the touchline, there should be a lot of touchline drama as well. And what a match! The match did not disappoint in any way, and it was a good compensation for some teams that could not see their favorite teams turn out over the weekend. So, but it was not just in the Premier League that we had actions. There was a very crucial match in Italy as well, because Napoli were able to defeat AC Milan 1-0, and that means that Napoli are now second. That was a very crucial match in the Italian Serie A title race. And of course, in Spain, we had a similar encounter in terms of battle for second position, or maybe a kind of battle that would mean you are closing the gap behind the leaders. And that was in Spain because Atletico Madrid lost to Sevilla 2-1, and that means Sevilla were able to close the gap in a way, maybe not so much, but closing the gap and closing in on Real Madrid, because the Los Blancos were held to a 0-0 draw by Cadiz. But for Barcelona and Xavi Hernandez, I'm almost happy to say this. Of course, I have no bias for the team, but when you see teams that have been doing well suffer this kind of run Barcelona has faced, you are somehow excited for them when they are finally getting the victories, regardless of how it comes. And for Xavi Hernandez, at some point it looked as if they were heading for another disappointing match day, because going 2-0 up and getting seeing Elche equalize would have been very disappointing for Xavi and his team, but they dug deep and they were able to secure a 3-2 victory over Elche in the Spanish La Liga. So let's serve you some statistics now emanating from the Premier League over the weekend, because Manchester City's 4-0 victory over the Newcastle United ensures that they will be top of the Premier League by Christmas. That is only the third time, and the two previous occasions they've been top was in 2011-2012 season and in the 2017-2018 season. Guess what? Both times they went on to win the league. So maybe this is another pointer to the fact that Pep Guardiola's team might just be unstoppable. I'm not affirming that, but these are questions that will definitely be answered. And of course, another stat about Manchester City talks about the fact that the victory over the Magpies over Newcastle was Manchester City's 34th in 2021, and that is the most for any top flight team in the calendar year. Talk about consistency. The manager Pep Guardiola was talking about the fact that he's not so concerned about winning titles. Of course, he wants to do well with his team and win trophies, but when you see statistics like this come, it's a point out to the fact that his team are really consistent. 34 victories in the calendar year says a lot about what the team is doing right now. And of course, from Arsenal's end, an interesting statistics as well, because the victory over Leeds United means Arsenal as well would be in the top 4 come Christmas. The last year, on the 25th of December, they were 15th and just 4 points above relegation zone. So this time around, they are assured, as a matter of fact, of being in the top 4 come Christmas. That goes to show the amount of work they've put in. That is the first time in the last 5 years they are doing that. Talk about the fact that, of course, some of their contenders, some of their rivals for this position, the likes of West Ham, Tottenham Hotspur, and Manchester United, still have games in hand. But we can't take anything away from what Mikel Arteta has done. The progress is evident. You look at the goal scorers on the night against Leeds United. None of them were above the age of 21. So this is a very young squad with quite exciting young talents doing well for themselves. So if Arteta can manage to keep this team together, because with youngsters come naivety at some point. Sometimes they make some silly mistakes because they will learn by experience. So having a right balance of youth and experience would be key in making that progress. And of course, they seem to be on the right track. Let's take a quick break now, and when we come back, we will wrap up Sport Vibes this week with some transfer stories. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Sport Vibes. Thank you so much for staying with us. I mentioned it earlier in the previous episode. I talked about the fact that times like these, you can almost smell the transfer window opening in winter, because teams are definitely looking forward to that. As insignificant as some teams consider the January transfer window, some really need it right now. And many times when I mention this, my mind goes to Newcastle United, maybe because they have so much money to spend, and you couple that with the fact that they are struggling at the moment, getting beaten by almost any team in the Premier League. So they need to invest, and they have the money to spend. So that is more like a match made in heaven, talking about the January transfer window and Newcastle United. And so we'll be running through the transfer rumor mill, the latest ones doing the rounds. Let's start with Real Madrid, because Borussia Dortmund CEO has confirmed that Real Madrid are interested in signing striker Erling Haaland. That is according to Bild in Germany. And of course, Brazilian midfielder Fernandinho looks set to stay at Manchester City in January. This is despite the fact that Atletico Mineiro have been linked with him, but their hopes of signing the man seem to be fading. And of course, Fiorentina's 21-year-old Serbian striker Dusan Vlahovic, who has been linked with the likes of Manchester City, Newcastle United and Arsenal, has rejected the latest new contract offered to him in Fiorentina. So that means this man seems to be interested in moving away from the club, but he has of course mentioned the fact that he would be willing to join a team that will be participating in the Champions League. That is not the end of the rumors. Of course, you see them as rumors, but some of them, from what you can perceive, you see that there is a bit of solidity in the news. And of course, there is this from Barcelona, there is this from Goal. According to Goal, Barcelona are offering their midfielder, their Brazilian midfielder Felipe Coutinho, to the likes of Tottenham and Newcastle United. So there is that about Atletico Madrid and Kieran Trippier, wanting to let him go, and of course a lot more news doing the rounds in the transfer market. So we keep our fingers crossed. My name is Bolaji-Episode. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year in advance. Thank you so much for joining. Bye for now.